So, ladies and gentlemen, a few days ago, I uploaded a video that talked about the flood in Texas that took the life of 109 people, destroyed the homes of many others and their businesses, and was utterly devastating. I also talked about Donut Operator. I talked about Brendan Herrera and Tectone. People that were posting links to get donations for first responders, fire departments, and basically trying to help organize and go out there to do supply runs. Going to the store, buying supplies, driving them back, giving them to first responders. That's amazing stuff that needed to be done, all while they're looking for people. They're trying to help others any way they can. I talked about that, and I thought that they should be commended. Now, I also talked about the other side of it, which is what you're looking at here. Now, what I thought when I first saw this was, wow, that is really amazing. Look at all these streamers out there in the floods helping people. And they're raising money too. I thought, wow, this is amazing. Like they're talking about how much money they're raising. Like, we just hit $100,000 in one day. What is happening? Oh, thank you. I'm thinking, wow, this is actually pretty cool. This is actually pretty great. And then the reality hit me like a ton of bricks. That no, they're not helping flood victims. They're helping themselves. This girl here is Maya. She is the one that runs this Alvia sanctuary. She is the one that is named on the official website as the founder and the director. In fact, we're going to go and, just so that you know that there are no lies. I'm not telling lies. We're going to go to, if I can just find the damn website. Website here, alvius.org. Let's go to About Staff. All right, founder. Let's see, make sure we got everything in the photo. Founder and executive director. So the woman in these pictures is Maya. Her, the one in the pink. So everything that they're doing, every penny that they're making is going to her and her organization. Everything that they're doing here is helping her. Now, I know what you could be saying. Okay, so they were helping her. So her business must have been destroyed. She must have lost a ton of animals, must have lost her home. I mean, devastating. So sure, they want to help her, right? Wrong. Here's a recap of what I talked about. But apparently we need to do this again because some people didn't quite get it. And I will explain why I'm recapping this again, because I do have a valid and legitimate reason.
Torrential rainstorm in Austin, right? A lot of people have had it a lot worse than us. A lot of people have died in these rainstorms. There's been a lot of fatal car accidents around us and in the city of Austin. It's very, very sad. Luckily,
I still can't get over that. That sort of cold, selfish, detached delivery. Yeah, people died. They've had it a lot worse. Anyway, let's make it about me. Let's make it about me. How much money can I raise for myself and my animal sanctuary? How much money can I generate off of this content that is me and my friends LARPing, that we're actually doing something, that we're actually doing something inspirational, that we're actually doing something to help? No. This is all of them working for themselves and other content creators donating, pretending to be good people, like they're helping people who have been through the flood in Texas. There are people that are dead that these people couldn't give a shit about. And the reason why I called this a scam was because I feel very strongly that this is a scam. It's a misrepresentation. It is farming virtue that is unearned off of the corpses of dead kids, and on top of that, people that have lost everything. You're not going to believe the quote unquote damage that this woman is talking about that needed to have a fundraiser for. You're not going to believe it.
Property, we're on a hill. All of the animals are safe. All of our staff are safe. We have no really like major damages to facilities or enclosures. So nothing like crazy or scary at Alveus, which we're very, very lucky for. Our biggest problem is there's a reservoir down here at our driveway, and it has blown out over the road, which this is not a paved road. We're on a dirt road here. And it created Niagara Falls on this side of the road, and it has completely washed it out. This whole thing, what you're seeing down there, used to be road.
Yes. So, needless to say, I thought it was the peak of selfishness and entitlement and delusion to have the fucking gall to go in front of people and say, yeah, I know that a lot of these people died and they're suffering right now, but my driveway was washed out, so we're going to do a charity fundraiser for me and my sanctuary, and all my friends are going to come and help me. Fuck everyone else. We're not even going to give a thought to them. Who cares about them? Everything's about me. Everything's about us. Everything's about streamer culture. Fuck these other people that could use their help. That was my point. And you take that in combination with the fact that, where's this post? I really want to find it. Agent and Chris are giving back to those affected by the floods. No. They're giving back to Maya.
Died, and we were here, and she showed me all around the property where they rescue animals that otherwise would have died, and they give them a home, and they give them and like it's almost like informational, but it's fire because it's like cool ass animals, bro. So she showed us everything, and I loved it. It was one of my favorite streams, and I did it like last year while we were in Austin. But today, in bad news, the entire road that leads into this place is completely flooded. They said one of the bridges just collapsed today, so it's a ton of damage, and it costs a lot of money to fix, but also it's going to take a lot of time. And so obviously not the best of situations. We heard about it yesterday on stream, so I figured I might as well come down since I'm only like an hour, 2 hours away from here. So we drove down. So we're doing a fundraiser, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first time in Twitch history I've ever had the audacity to run max ads. I'm not making no money off this. All the ads I get from it, I'm going to donate straight to Alveus Sanctuary.
So every penny that this guy is going to be generating from ads is going directly to Maya. It's going directly to Alveus Sanctuary, where she is the founder and director. So, the title is Agent and Chris are giving back to those affected by the floods. This is meant to deceive people into thinking that they're doing something actually good, rather than just going there to help out a friend. Which is fine. You want to go out there to help a friend. But the reason that they're streaming is to generate more money for themselves and more virtue for themselves. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this again is because I've had some people that are very upset that I covered it in the way that I did. And in fact, I even had some people that are probably tier 3 subs for some of these girls come at me and say what you did was slander, and I hope that they sue you. Now that the recap is over, I want to address that. I'm not one for frivolous lawsuits. I think it's a waste of time, but if they were to sue me, I would be okay with that. Number one, everything that I said was true. Everything that I said was true. It would take my lawyers nothing to prove that these people are public figures and thus have a higher standard to prove damages and to prove malice. Well, obviously, there are no damages. You can't prove damages because My video was critical of them. They didn't lose a dime. They generated $250,000. My video was a free speech video. It was not slander. Everything that I said was true. And I say that because I was somebody that was duped. Now, I didn't give money, but I was under the impression that they were actually helping people who were innocent flood victims. I thought it was super cool. And then I realized that every bit of that was for themselves. They didn't lift a finger to help anyone else. There wasn't a single tweet or a link or anything to first responders or people who actually needed the help. So, to you freaks, and there aren't that many of you, but there were enough of you that I wanted to address this, who are retarded enough to think that your precious tier 3 sub, your precious princess, your queen is going to sue me, or the organization is going to sue me. I've got another thing. You've got another thing coming. If they were to sue me, I would win. They would have to pay my legal fees. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, and not only that, but you'd have to prove actual malice. Because they're public figures, you'd have to prove actual malice. And the fact is, they couldn't prove it because what I said was right. It was true. These streamers took a situation like this, where there are dead people, and this woman had a blown out driveway. You know, she says my house is okay, or, you know, our buildings are okay, the staff is okay, animals are okay, but the driveway's got some issues. Okay. But you're presenting it like you're doing something for the community, or you're doing something to help people with floods. I saw that tweet and I'm like, wow, this guy, you know, whatever his name is, Chris or whoever, you know, that guy, you know, with the tweet saying we're helping flood victims. I wanted to put that tweet in there just to really solidify the fact that they put on the perception that they were helping others and they were only helping themselves. And that's the way that I see it. And it made me sick. So I did a video about it and talked about it. So if you think that your precious little princesses are going to sue me, first of all, you're living in a dream world. That's not the way that the law works. They could absolutely sue me. You could sue anyone for any reason. But at the end of the day, you would have to prove actual malice. You'd have to prove that I was being malicious, and I wasn't. I was just speaking the truth. That these girls went out there and put these pictures out there, presented like they're actually helping in the middle of a flood. And any reasonable person would look at that and say, yeah, these people are helping, which may incentivize people to donate under the idea that that money is actually going to help people in Texas who have suffered as a result of the flood. And I said suffered, like actually suffered. Not your driveway is blown out. I mean, I guess in a court of law, you could argue that that would constitute, you know, like severe damage to your property. But in the grand scheme of things, I would simply point out that in a situation like this, a driveway is not the same as losing a house, losing a family member, having your livelihood destroyed. And it is reasonable that a normal person would look at them covered in mud and covered in gunk and covered in crud, and them asking for donations and mentioning the flood over and over, then it would be reasonable for a normal person to assume that they were talking about helping regular families in Texas, rather than being so shameless and disgusting and greedy to make everything about themselves. And by the way, one thing that I didn't show, which I am now going to show, is in the middle of this. By the way, people have died. People have lost their home. People have lost their business. This girl Maya takes some time to do a video to tell you what she's going to do with all that money that came in.
Of being educators here and inspiring people about the natural world and teaching people with our animal ambassadors. I love doing that, and we are never going to stop doing that. Doing education is absolutely my bread and butter, and it's what I'm passionate about, and it's what I'll do for the rest of my life. But for a long time, we've also thought about other ways that we can meaningfully contribute to conservation work, and we think that a really meaningful way for us to use our resources and to mobilize the community that we have for conservation work is by developing a breeding and recovery program for release into the wild. That's all I'll say. It's kind of the whole thing, but that's all I'll say. I won't say anymore. It's crazy, guys.
So I don't know if this was recorded before the floods or when this was recorded, but it was posted on July 6th. Now, this is a follow-up. We have so much more planned to talk about, but for a later date, we just had to tease a little something for hitting 100K raised today. So all of that money, by the way, is just for the sanctuary. It's just for her. Expanding their operation. You know, they'll fix the road. Fixing the road is nothing. I mean, that's not going to be a super costly endeavor. It'll cost some money, but it won't be super costly. But a majority of the money is going to go to the sanctuary. I said very clearly that my feeling was that they were using this tragedy in order to profit. It's a non-profit. They generated $250,000 in 3 days. The perception of this, the illusion of it, from my point of view, seems very clear, like they are presenting that they're helping people in Texas when they're not. They're only helping themselves. If that triggers you, if that bothers you, first of all, you're a fucking freak. You're an absolute freak if you're bothered by this incredibly reasonable and logical and consistent point of view. That while a tragedy is going on, that you would expect that they would be helping other people if they're posting videos that are, I mean, this looks like the video that you would post if you were out there with first responders helping. Is that not true? This looks like somebody who's helping people, looking for people, working with first responders. And the appeals to hey, donate to us, we're donating to this charity. Well, you would think all of these things combined, you wouldn't think that it would be her charity, that it would be for her, right? So even you simps, you pathetic, loathsome losers, and by the way, these girls don't know you exist, and even if they did, they wouldn't care that you exist. So your simpery is even more pathetic. I don't care who it is. I don't care how popular they are or whatever the variables are. If I see something that I think is wrong, I'm going to comment on it. And I absolutely think that what they did was deceitful. I think that you could qualify it as a scam. Now, if the bitter taste of that is unpalatable to you, I am truly sorry. Actually, that's a lie. I'm not sorry. If the bitter taste of that is unpalatable to you, tough. Deal with it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.